Hello and welcome to the 18th episode of the 34 Sports Podcast. My name is Nug and I'm joined again with my co-host Raptor.
How's it going, everybody? We back. We're ready for another one.
Yep. I was watching a lot of NFL this weekend and I'm just going to give my thoughts on the games. I'll go over what I saw and just it was fun to watch, I'm not going to lie. First game was the Bills and the Colts. Well, I don't think this is in order, but this is the order I was thinking of them in. Bills and Colts was a close game, but in the end, the Colts could not put together 12 yards to get in the field goal range. I was watching the end of that, and it showed me that, and I'll say it for a couple of QBs here that lost, it's time to retire. I think Philip Rivers needs to be done. They need to bring either Jacoby Brissett in there or somebody else. There had been talks of Carson Wentz, but I don't know how that whole situation is in Philadelphia with Doug Peterson getting fired today as head coach. So the next head coach might be able to use Wentz. So we'll have to see.
How
But
many years has Doc Rivers? Doc Rivers has Rivers been a QB now?
at least 15. I can't say the exact number, but it's been I think around 15 plus. He's been in the league a while. He was in the Chargers forever,
I remember that.
but
What,
he just go ahead.
I don't remember when he started to go downhill, but he's been iffy for a while.
Well, he didn't go downhill, but he never did a whole lot for anybody in the playoffs. They were never really. The Chargers never really made the playoffs, so he hasn't had too much playoff experience, and he's never really went far. I mean, he's one of the all-time passing leaders, but that's really all he has done. So, I would have rather had Jacoby Brissett. They're pretty one-dimensional. I don't know. The way Jonathan Taylor, the running back, was running, they didn't really need the run game, but it still would have been nice to have a guy like Jacoby Brissett out there who could run the ball out of the quarterback position rather than just be stuck. And I really just thought it was kind of dumb that they couldn't even get 12 yards right there at the end. They failed to just all they had to do was get 12 more yards. They were around the 40. They could have kicked the field goal. I still would have let this guy kick the field goal rather than throw the Hail Mary they did at the end of the game. But that's the decision the coach made, so they got to live with that. But Indianapolis has looked better. They've got some decent young guys. The one that really comes to mind for me is Jonathan Taylor, but they're not. I don't see them as being out. I see them. I mean, if they started Andrew Luck, this would have been a better game anyway because Luck was. I mean, I think he only played like 7 seasons, so he'd only been through his 9th year by now. That would have been probably fairly good. I mean, they would have probably been a higher seed with Luck there, but I mean, he got beat up so much because of their own fault, so. They kind of put themselves in this position. But the Bills rolling on to who do they play? They play the Ravens. Oh, they're going to torch the Ravens. They'll be on to the Ravens. Should be a good game. Lots of offense, but I think, well, I'll get into that later. But on to the Ravens. All right, next game. We got Steelers versus Browns. Juju Smith-Schuster in the wow. Juju Smith-Schuster and the Steelers Corvette their way out of the playoffs by getting blown out in the first half and then not having enough of their so-good offense to get back into the game. I was rooting for the Steelers till about week 9. I was like, they look good, and then I hate TikTok. I'm going to say it right now. I really hate TikTok almost with a passion. I think it's well, I won't get into that, but I really dislike TikTok. And when Juju kept just TikTok dancing on the logos, it started to really get on my nerves. And then eventually it grew to the point where every time he got hit really hard, I was happy about it. So I got tired of the Steelers real quick. They were cocky. There's a tweet by Chase Claypool that says we don't lose. That happened after they went 11-0, and then from that point in the season they went 1-5. They looked garbage. They couldn't run the ball. And yesterday, their defense didn't even look that good. Some of their main guys, Minkah Fitzpatrick basically did nothing yesterday. T.J. Watt he wasn't really that much of a factor. I mean, the Browns lost 2 offensive linemen at one point in the game, and they still could do nothing. They came back, but like the defensive side of the ball for the Steelers really had no no counter for that. And it was surprising because myself had thought as the Steelers as still the best defense in the league, but they didn't show it yesterday. It was just, I think Big Ben needs to retire, Ben Roethlisberger. He looked bad. He had one, I think it was pretty much this game-sealing interception. I think he had 3 or 4 interceptions yesterday. His pass got batted down. He had the most passes batted out of, I can't explain it, but he had tip balls. That's what it is. He had the most tip balls by a quarterback this season. I think it was somewhere around 20. And he just doesn't his elbow doesn't look that good. A lot of people are saying his elbow looks out of rhythm, and he just doesn't look like the same guy. I mean, he's 38 going on 39. After that performance, I know he probably doesn't want to go out on that, but if I was the Steelers, I would ask him very much so to be done on that because they need to find somebody else. That was just a disgrace. Now, when I had picked the Browns last week, I said it depended on what Baker Mayfield showed up for them. And the one that is the good one decided to show up. And he has more than lately played the good Baker Mayfield. Baker very well may be playing the better Baker Mayfield for a while now. I mean, he's just really picked it up, and I think he's become a lot more consistent. I see him as being there for a while. Him and the coach Kevin Stefanski, who wasn't even there because he had a COVID protocol. I think he actually had the virus and was still in quarantine. But him and Baker Mayfield seem to know each other pretty well, and they're running the offense to Baker's strengths, so it's working for them. Also helped that Nick Chubb couldn't get tackled by the Steelers yesterday. I don't get it. Steelers were supposed to be a good defensive team, but Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt ran on them like it was nothing. And the Steelers are right off into the sunset, being known as one of the worst 11-0 teams to ever to get to that spot in the NFL. Browns are on to the Chiefs, and they can have fun with that because that's going to be interesting. But you got anything to add to that, or no?
No, I'm pretty sure that next game with the Browns and Chiefs, this one I can confidently say is going to be a beatdown.
I think it's going to be a lot of offense. It may be a beatdown, but I do think it's going to be a lot of offense.
And, you saying that they're the worst 11, I don't believe that.
Well, they had to. The reason why I say that is because the only game they won the rest of the season is a comeback win against the Colts where they were down 24-0 in the first half. So I don't. At the
same time, I guess when they went in, but I know they lost, but they did come back out of the break and score 37.
Yeah, I guess it.
Roethlisberger's bad elbow, they scored almost 40.
Well, I feel if the Browns, I know they weren't trying to hurt anybody, but they didn't play Garrett for good amounts in the second half. They rest him a little bit, and Myles Garrett was really getting at Ben Roethlisberger that game. And the line just wasn't holding up. I can see
why you say what you're saying for sure.
Because I was getting afraid of that in the first half when they let the Steelers go up by 7, and then because the momentum was starting to swing their way when the Steelers scored 7 a little bit, and then it continued a little bit in the second half. But if the Browns had not punched that one more touchdown to go up 35-7 in the first half, I don't know how the game would have ended, because that would have been straight Steelers momentum going into half. But by them putting that touchdown in, going into half, it evened it out. I didn't think it killed their momentum totally, but it kind of showed them that the Browns weren't done tonight.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, as we saw last year with the Texans against the Chiefs, anything can happen, especially being up. You got to watch yourself.
Yeah.
But, yeah, let's move on to Go ahead.
One quick thing. One thing about football is I think it's the most, because of the best of one format, it's the sport with the most upsets. I think that's a true fact in my opinion, but...
Well, outside of March Madness, yeah. I mean, specifically talking about the league, yeah.
Because, in the NBA, there's the best of 7, right? So like you could lose the first two, but lose a series, and the team that should win still could. But like in football, like the Steelers, let's say, they lost and it's an upset because they're done already, right? So it's like they don't even have a chance like other leagues do. So it's kind of
Yeah.
crazy. Like a good team can get by if they don't play good one game.
I miss best of. Well, I wasn't alive for it, but I've read about it back in the late '80s, maybe earlier than that. They used to do best of 3 first rounds for the NBA, and I remember reading in the Bad Boys book, which is more or less a biography about the first NBA championship for Detroit and Isaiah Thomas's early life. In that, they had to play the Washington Bullets in Wes Unseld, I think. Yeah, that would have been Wes Unseld. They had to play them, and I think Detroit. I don't even know if they had home court advantage that one, but it was best out of 3, and that went down to 3 games, and that was close. I mean, I think that would help that a little bit, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like the 1 game format because for football, to play more than to play even best of 3 in football, the amount of fatigue you're giving every player is just not. It's not gonna work. That's never gonna happen with
And
football.
it's just if you play bad for one game and you lose, then I guess you just didn't bring your best game. So
Yeah, that's why game planning. That's why Belichick and the Patriots do so well when they have a decent roster, is because they game plan so hard.
yeah.
All right, I'm gonna move on to Titans and the Ravens. But the Titans started hot in that game. They were up 10, but then the Ravens really stormed back. Big thing for me was Derrick Henry was basically non-existent. It wasn't for him not showing up. It was just for the defense of the Ravens really keeping him on the ground. Well, not keeping him on the ground, but keeping him. I saw a lot of stuffs right at the line. He only had 18 attempts for 40 yards yesterday, and this is a man who put up 2,000 yards and 1,450 plus yards off of the first, like where he almost got tackled and broke tackle. He had 1,400 yards just off of that this season. So for them to shut him down like that, I mean, they meant business. The Ravens had to get a playoff win, more specifically Lamar did. Lamar Jackson previous to this point in his career, has lost 2 playoff games in the wild card round, or just the first round, wherever they were. And it was to the Titans last year, so they gave him one this year. But yeah, the Ravens look good, but next round they got the Bills, so we'll see how that goes. We'll talk about that in a minute, but it was a good win for the Ravens yesterday. Lamar played well. I don't have a whole lot to say about that. But we'll move on to Saints-Bears. Bears, no offense. Mitch Trubisky, I don't know if he's getting paid or not. They don't really have any other good options in Chicago. But that Saints defense, he had nothing. They had 1 field goal the whole game. Bears were the worst team in that whole playoff. Matchups wise, I mean, how they got matched up, I don't know how well they would have done against any of the other teams either. But yeah, Saints move on. They get to play Brady this next weekend. We'll talk about that in a minute. Seahawks and Rams. I mean, did you have anything on any of those 2 games, or
Not really,
just
to be
keep
honest.
rolling?
It was just the way I expected them to go, to be honest.
Yeah, those were fairly shutting open and closed.
Yeah.
Now, one that threw me was the Seahawks losing to the Rams. Russell Wilson, all the people who say let Russ cook, you got to see Russ cook some burnt chicken last night because he was awful. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to bet on FanDuel. And I'm like, it's first is wild card, I'll bet. I had Lockett and DK Metcalf. And in the first half, they gave me like 4 points apiece. And anybody who knows sports betting at all knows that 4 points is basically nothing for 2 wide receivers that are the top tier on their team. Russell Wilson was getting destroyed, I assume, by Aaron Donald and the rest of the team. I didn't watch it, but I assume Aaron Donald was really getting at him. Didn't know if Goff was going to be there. Turned out he did come in, and he played good enough. I mean, the defense was getting at the Seahawks, so there wasn't a whole lot they were doing. But the Seahawks team, anybody who thought Aaron Rodgers was an MVP, look at yesterday and you'll get the answer why he wasn't MVP. That was just horrendous. Seattle's defense was better, but it seemed like as the season progressed, the defense picked it up and the offense kind of died off. So they had a lot of issues yet, but I still thought they could have beat this Rams team who lost to the Jets. But here we are. They're going back to, or they could stay right in Seattle because they actually had the home game and still lost. But
tough.
that's just, yeah. Now, another game. Washington at the Buccaneers. I had Washington just because I thought maybe they'd get it at Brady a little bit, but Brady really showed that it's playoffs time. Brady's ready to go. Brady and Antonio Brown and everybody. Gronk didn't do a whole lot, but who knows? Gronk might slip in their next game. You got Godwin and you got who's it? Can you think of the? Yeah, Mike Evans. Yeah, they've got so much offense there that if, like they said at the start of the season, if they get together, that's the best offense in football with as many pieces. And they got, I can't think of the run, Leonard Fournette. They got Leonard Fournette to run for him too. So they're pretty well locked up. And the defense is, it's been hit or miss, but if they can play like they did yesterday, they'll be fine. I will say that Washington's quarterback, he was from the XFL, I can't think of his name right now, played fairly well for just coming in his first game. May even get a contract out of it. Washington did put up more of a fight than some of the other teams here, namely the Bears did against the Saints. It was a fairly good game. I watched some of it, but Brady was just too much. If he plays like that, it's going to be awfully hard to put him out in the next we'll talk about it now. Let's switch over. Let's just go right into Saints Buccaneers. I'm going to give my playoff predictions. Well, we're both
Yeah.
But Saints Bucks. I've actually got the Buccaneers taking down the Saints here. I don't think Brady's going to lose to Breeze twice this year, and I think the way the Bucks are rolling and the way the Saints had just an easy game last time, I think the Bucks are going to knock them upside the chin and move on from there. What do you think?
I'm gonna go with the Saints just because I think, well, we've seen Alvin Kamara go off. Obviously, we know what he can do. We know Breeze is one of the most prolific QBs ever, but so is Brady. We both know that.
Well, yeah, this could be Breeze's last run too, which might give him extra motivation.
That's what I'm saying, and I think he said that this could be one of his last years. So I feel like he's gonna. I don't know. I think he's really gonna try, and I think they can do it. So I'm gonna take the Saints in this one, but I'm not. But like, not even. It's not gonna be like a blowout. It probably will be like a field goal in my opinion.
Okay,
It's not gonna be much.
Well, we saw Michael Thomas get in the end zone for the first time in nearly, I think it was like 390 days since he had a touchdown. So if he's back, that's going to hurt the Buccaneers a little bit. But that Buccaneers team looked like it's clicking at the right time. We'll have to see next week. Packers play the Rams. The Rams got their Cinderella win here. Aaron Rodgers is going to put them. Yeah. The Packers are going to put them down hard. Rodgers is still trying to. This is Rodgers' big run here. I don't know how they'll fare against the Chiefs, but I think I've got the Packers going quite a ways in this playoffs.
In my opinion, Aaron, I'm picking the Packers too, and I think this whole season for him has just been one good old screw you to the coaching staff for thinking they were going to replace him.
Well, that's the GM
really
too.
You were gonna take me.
Yeah. Gunther Kuntz is the GM's name. The only reason I know that is because I was watching the Pat McAfee show during the draft, and there's one guy that's a big Packers fan, and he was really mad, and he kept saying the GM's name. But that GM, I don't know. I think Jordan Love, the QB they drafted, will be good down the road, but he will get a lot of teaching from Rodgers, but I just don't think it was the best choice. Rodgers could have used another wide receiver, but we see what he's done with Davante Adams this year.
But yeah, the Rams are not going to beat the Packers.
No, there's no way. Goff's hurt. I don't even know how the Seahawks lost to a Goff with a broken thumb, but he has something wrong with his thumb. I don't know if it's broken, but
it ain't healthy.
It's not healthy. Yeah, that Packers team is they're gonna be done
But then we also said that again, so I don't even know.
Yeah, but the Seahawks have been inconsistent. The Packers have not.
Yeah, that's true. They've been consistently beating
Well, the
everybody.
Seahawks can consistently stay home now, so
Yeah.
they got the real stay-at-home order.
Now,
Um, all right, Bills Ravens. Uh,
Bills.
yeah, I got Bills too, but I think it's gonna be a fun game to watch. It's gonna be a lot. I mean, even Josh Allen can get out of the pocket a little bit. I think you're gonna see a good amount of QB runs on both sides, and it should be an
I
interesting
don't think
game.
it's gonna be a blowout though. Either way.
I'm saying 10 points. I think it'll be
Yeah,
I think it'll be a touchdown and a field goal for the Bills. I don't. I
that's not
think the
even that
Ravens
bad.
can put up points. I think they can put up points, but I don't.
Oh yeah.
I think yeah, and I think the Ravens defense will keep it moderate, but I don't think they can hold the Bills. Could very well be another 40-point game for the Bills. We'll have to see. But that one's fairly easy, Bills. Now Chiefs and Browns. Uh, Mahomes has had
That's
a week off. I think that pretty well explains the whole thing. The Browns, their time is coming. I don't think they'll ever. Well, I can't say that firmly, but it's going to be hard for anybody to. Mahomes is going to be here consistently year after year, so it's gonna.
but to
Let's
be
not.
fair, the Browns making it this far is like winning a ship for that team.
Yeah,
So
especially against the rival Steelers, how they put them down. That's yeah.
that's like a ship in itself for that for that fan base. Like I don't want to disrespect you guys, but like
Well, they're
that's
probably
the
not
victory.
even feel disrespected because they won 2 games 2 years ago, and now they're in the playoffs and won
That's
against the
the
Steelers. So
that's a big thing for you guys, but I
yeah,
don't see them
it's
getting
short steps.
past.
I mean, that's like Detroit getting in the playoffs, the Pistons specifically, and winning against the Bucks. For me, that would be how that would
That
be.
would be like a shit.
Yeah,
So I mean, but like obviously, I do not see the Browns making it past that chainsaw.
yeah. I think not only will the offense really get on them, but I think the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu, on the, I think that's how you pronounce his name, on the Chiefs.
Matthew, Tyron Matthew.
Tyra. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. All right. But he's gonna get at them too. The Chiefs are just so well rounded. It's gonna be hard. I think if you see Chiefs and Packers in the Super Bowl, that's gonna be interesting. And that will
I
be the
picked the
first
Chiefs.
time both one seeds have went to the Super Bowl. So I really think it could happen this year. A lot of people don't. They're like, oh, 2 1 seeds can't make it, but it's this year the way it's lining up. Unless the Bills somehow pull something out, I don't see anybody beating either the Packers or the Chiefs besides the Bills beating the Chiefs. That's the only oddball I see. I think it's pretty
Yeah.
well set for me, Chiefs Packers in the Super Bowl, unless something unforeseen happens. I like we won't get into that this week, but I don't know. I don't really see too much adversity for either Packers or Chiefs. But we'll flip the NBA now. NBA's been heating up, but also the COVID cases have been heating up for the NBA. We had 2 games postponed today, unfortunately. It would have been Porzingis' first game back. I actually probably would have watched that one. But they have to retool, maybe tell people to just quit playing the Wizards because it seems like every time somebody plays the Wizards, they get the win, but they also get a case of COVID with the win for 3 or 4 Well, it's usually maybe one guy gets it, and then there's the tracing and all that extra stuff. I'm not going to get into that because I kind of get it, but I don't also kind of get it. But yeah, they've got to retool, but we'll talk about what happened this week. We won't talk about that. Power rankings right now, I'm just going to leave their power rankings what it is. I didn't really pick one this week. I'll give NBA.com's top 10 right now. Lakers at 1, Suns at 2, Celtics at 3, Bucks at 4, Sixers at 5, Clippers at 6, Pacers at 7, Mavs at 8, Nuggets at 9, and Warriors slipped in there at 10, finally coming around. I'll talk about the Warriors in a minute, but I don't disagree with this. Lakers have consistently been winning. Have had to play most of the game to get it, but they still have won. Still the slim margins, but a couple of teams that I had pushing them for the top of the power ranking have fell off a little bit. So Lakers are definitely your best team in the league at this point. Number 2, Suns have just looked really good. their role players have been coming out strong for them. Mikal Bridges, who was traded, I think, on draft night from Philly, which he actually went to Villanova, so he wasn't too happy about that. But 36 points the other night. I don't know why I said that. That was extra crap. That didn't need to be said. But Jay Crowder's been playing well. Ayton has just been really good for them. Booker's been decent. Hasn't had to score as much as he has to in the past because they've just been playing so well. Probably because Chris Paul facilitates so much, and it's just Chris Paul. Ever since he went to OKC, has really. I mean, I knew he was good, but like I was kind of thought he was overrated. But then when he went to OKC and now he's on the Suns, I kind of truly see his genius. But yeah, Suns look good early. Celtics look good. It's different now with the way that Tatum and Brown have progressed in their career to a point where they can lead the team now without, like, because Kemba's out right now, and they've been able to figure it out without Kemba. Whereas in the past, when Isaiah Thomas went out, back when he was there, and then when Kyrie was out, they were not in the best place. But now, with as much time as they've had to deal with them out and how they're progressed as players, they can pull the team without them there, and it shows that the Celtics, once they get Kemba back, they're going to be hard to beat. Number 4 is the Bucks. Consistency is key for them. That's what happened in the bubble, and you can't get consistent when you have 4 or 5 months off, but that's what killed them in the bubble. But if they keep the same consistency that they had prior to the bubble in the regular season last year, they're going to be in good position because they were, if it didn't get shut down, in very good position last year. Philly at 5. Philly, they're doing all right. They've been hit with the Wizards' COVID. After they played the Wizards, they had to run 7 players the next game, which included Dwight Howard, Danny Green, and Tyrese Maxey. I'm trying to think who it is. I'm not 100%, but had a bunch of people they had 3 rookies and 2 veterans, and the rest, I think the 2 off the bench, were like mid-tier role players. Not very good. Still were able to keep it semi-close where it wasn't a complete blowout against the Nets. Tyrese Maxey put up 39 that game. But Philly's been doing all right. I like the Simmons and Embiid fit more with Doc Rivers there. But we'll have to see. I got to see more out of Philly in the playoffs before I make too many things, because you can play well in the regular season, but as we saw with the Clippers last year, who were at number 6 on this power ranking, you got to be able to do it in the playoffs, or else it doesn't mean anything. Clippers actually blew a 20-point lead to the Warriors the other day. That's why they're at 6. I would even have them ranked probably down to 8 myself, but when Kawhi's been playing well, they usually play well, but Kawhi was there for that lead blow, so I don't know. I'm not. I never am going to put all my chips in on the Clippers anymore. I did that too hard last year, and they let me down. It's going to take a lot to build my trust back up in that team, and we'll see what they can do come farther through the season. At 7, they have the Pacers. I like the Pacers right now. Oladipo, despite what I said, actually got back to form. Didn't think I would ever see it. Bogdan's been playing really good, all-star form. Probably will get a snub. They'll probably still have an all-star team come out, but I think Bogdan will be snubbed like Beal last year, but he is playing at an all-star level. You've got Sabonis playing really well, getting triple-doubles occasionally from the power forward position, which is very rare. And Miles Turner's been getting a lot of blocks, and they've been playing well, and they usually have everybody score 10-plus and have a couple guys score 10-plus off the bench, so they've got a fairly good rotation. Pacers look pretty good, and it's the East, which helps them even more. Now at 8, they've got Dallas. Dallas has been playing decent. It would help if we could have seen what they would do with Porzingis tonight if the game hadn't got postponed. Luka, though, even despite not having a ton with him, Tim Hardaway Jr. has been playing fairly well. I will say that, though. Luka, one of his big games last week, he had 38 points, 13 assists, 9 rebounds, and 4 steals. Did have 8 turnovers there. We'll mention that. Still won the game, but Luka's just been, if they were playing well, and they very well may play well towards the end of the season, he could make a push for the MVP right now. I think LeBron's got that pretty hard at this point, but it is still a decent season that we have to get through before we crown an MVP. They put Nuggets at 9. I guess if you're looking at this specific week, but they are 5-5, so I don't know about that pick at 9. Nuggets. This week Murray and Jokic have been playing well, but at times I've seen weak defensive outings out of them because they don't really have elite defenders. They have more offense than anything, and I guess if you're in Denver, that works because of the adrenaline you get from playing up in the mountains. So, we'll have to see what the Nuggets do going forward. Warriors at 10. I'll just get into my whole thing I've got here about the Warriors. Warriors, since Draymond have been back, are 4-2. He's really been pulling the offense together. Less reliance on Wiggins and Oubre to bring the ball up, which was an issue early. Draymond makes sure the offense moves correctly. One thing I will say that I really don't like right now is Kelly Oubre shooting threes. If Kelly Oubre doesn't shoot threes for them, they're 4th in the league if they take out all his missed threes. So Oubre's got to figure that out. But with Draymond there, they look at least somewhat competitive, if not competitive, against top teams. I want to see them on a matchup against a team like the Suns or the Celtics or the Lakers or the Bucks. I want to see what they do there. I would like to see a Bucks rematch, especially what happened opening day. Or maybe, it was their second game on Christmas against the Bucks. They got toasted, but I'd like to see now that Draymond's back what it would be like. But Warriors have picked it back up. I'm happy to see that. Don't know how competitive they are playoffs-wise yet. We've got to see more how they how consistent they can be through the season. But yeah. Did you have anybody you thought should be in the power rankings that weren't there?
Not really. I agree with all of those, to be honest. The ones that are at the top should be there. The ones that are in there should be in there. The Warriors have brought it back.
It's kind of weird right now because the power rankings, some of these guys, like the Nuggets, aren't even top 8 seed right now, but they're in the power rankings because everything's just so weird right now.
Yeah, it's just kind of a weird picture.
Yeah. The Knicks are like 5-5 right now, and so are some of these teams. So I
feel bad for the Suns.
The Suns?
Yeah, they're playing the Wizards.
Well, I don't know. Wizards got to tune that up. That's all I got to say. Cause it's been...
No, they're playing the Suns then the Suns are gonna have some cases. They're down by 17 right now to the Wizards.
Are they really?
Yeah, 38-21.
Is everybody playing?
Let me check real quick.
Yeah, let's have a quick check on this right now since we're
Phoenix got Paul, Devin, DeAndre. Yeah, all of the guys that should be playing are playing.
What about on the Wizards? I thought Westbrook had to sit.
They got Beal with 13 already. They got Robbins. The rest of them are 4 points.
Are they playing Wagner today?
Who?
Mo Wagner?
Let me see, Mo Wagner.
Maybe off the bench? Because I know they need a center now. They're probably playing Lopez as a starter, but...
I don't even see Wagner in the frame. Oh, wait. Mortiz Wagner.
Is he playing, or is he, bottom of the bench?
Is it Mortiz Wagner? Or
yeah. Yeah.
7 points, 3 boards.
He does? Good. He played at Michigan. He pulled them to the championship game for March Madness.
And then the highest score for the Suns is 6, and that's D-Book.
Okay. Well, my question is how much is Westbrook just... he's a good player, but it just seems like everywhere he goes, the team just doesn't seem to gel all the time. I don't know.
He ain't even playing
And they're actually winning today against the top team. I don't know...
The Cavs are beating the Grizzlies. The Hornets are beating the Knicks.
The Hornets are beating the Knicks. What's Ball's numbers? We'll get into LaMelo Ball here. We won't talk too much about scores.
No points, 4 boards, 3 assists, a steal.
How many minutes?
7.
Okay, he's got to watch that. I was gonna start talking about him as a top rookie, but I hope he doesn't have
I
another
mean,
one of them
he
zero
did get
point
a
games.
triple dub, and it was a nice triple dub.
Yeah, he had a triple dub, but I don't. He needs to stay away from them 0 point games, or he's gonna only hurt himself.
Yeah,
Uh,
it just started the second quarter, so he's
okay,
probably
he's got time. For rookies wise, Ball has played fairly well. He's the youngest to get a triple double, but he has been inconsistent.
gonna
Edwards has been playing fairly well in Minnesota. Not anything crazy, but I have seen some good skills out of him. Um, Wiseman and Golden State's been playing pretty good. His numbers have dipped with Draymond coming back, but I mean, I'd rather see Draymond come back and take away from Wiseman as Wiseman grows as a player and figures out how to play in that offense. Yeah, you also have somebody that surprised me was the one I said was a bust, like a not a good number 4 pick. Not really a bust, but I thought it was an overreach. But Patrick Williams in Chicago has actually lived up to a lot of the comparisons they had for him. They say he does kind of remind people of Kawhi. So if he is like that, then it definitely wasn't an overreach. So we'll have to see if he can keep that up. I think he's getting like a block and a half a game and a steal. So if they could use a guy like that in Chicago because they can't really defend a whole lot. A lot of times in the games that they win, it's like 130 to 125 or something like that. It's just high scoring, no defense kind of games. But there's been some decent rookie performances I've seen. Detroit's rookie unfortunately went out. Doesn't make me the happiest, but we have a few young guys. Like I won't get into Detroit a ton, but Sadiq Bey, the 16th pick, looks pretty good for us. He had 6 threes the other day. But the rookies still a little bit too early to tell on them guys. Now we'll get into my last point here. We're gonna talk about the Raptors a little bit. I do have to say something. Siakam has played better since that game I really toasted him for. Since that, against Boston, he had 22 points and 6 rebounds. Against the Suns, he had 32 points and 9 rebounds. He had 17 points, 9 rebounds, and 12 assists against the Kings. He's at 25 and 11 against the Warriors. I think they've only won one of those games, but still, at least he's putting up the production now, so there's less complaining on for him. Still don't know what their fix is. They still have some kinks they have to work out. Did not like Siakam's last shot last night. I will say that, though. They probably... I don't know what you do there, but I don't like that little spin move he did last night. But he did put up 25, so, I mean, I'm not going to get on him too hard. I have liked what I've seen out of him lately. He does, at least, if he can give you 20 plus a night, he's worth the money that they paid him. I mean, he started, I don't know if he just didn't really practice in the little time that he had in the off season because he came out so cold. But the Raptors, what do you see as a real, like, what problems do you see coming from them? Because I'm kind of thrown. You think it's effort?
Yeah, Nick Nurse said we need to get them to care more. Literally.
Okay.
Like Nurse isn't happy. He said they need to care more, and he's like, I think a reporter asked him, how do you feel about the way, I don't think it was Kyle, but it was, I think Flynn, like the new guy, and a couple of the other guys.
Like, yeah, no,
and
San Diego State.
He literally said, I mean, he didn't play, like, he's not holding back this year. He's calling his guys out.
Well, I mean, it's going to be his head on the chopping block. No, I don't think they would fire him, but that's who you always look at as a coach when something like this happens.
No, but I've never seen Nick Nurse call his own players out, so I know he's probably pretty pissed.
Well, I mean, he hasn't had too many instances where he's needed to because they've been in a constant state of being a top seed since he's been there.
Like, I've literally never heard Nick Nurse. I mean, it's not really calling a shot. It's kind of like a motivating insult, I want to say, is what he's trying to do here. But
yeah.
I've never heard him say that thing. Like, he has never somewhat thrown shade at a player. Never.
I don't think Baines really gets your guys as just your whole persona you have there. I haven't really seen him do a ton the whole time he's been there. Baines is.
No, the only thing I saw last night that I was happy about was it looks like we were getting our defense back in the sense of like really getting up on guys more than.
Was it when Boucher was on the floor, or was it when Baines was on the floor?
No, it was Boucher, and that's why I think Boucher should start.
I think he should too. I mean, what I think Nurse is trying to do with him is that Ibaka role. He's trying to fill somebody into that Ibaka role off the
But every
bench,
time
but you
Boucher
don't
plays, he
have the
drops
starter
20.
anymore. Go ahead.
I think Boucher's had like 2 blocks. 95% of the games he's touched the floor. 2
Yeah,
or more.
yeah. I don't know what. I mean, you guys should have signed Trez, but Trez is going to LA. I mean, it would have been very, very hard, and you
Or
would
at
have had to
least try to
overpay
get
hard
Serge
for him.
back up.
Yeah,
Or at least get Serge back.
Yeah.
I wouldn't care, but Serge.
yeah. Serge would have started at that point over Baines. I mean, Baines would have probably never been signed if you had
Like, I
signed
very
Serge.
much appreciate Marc Gasol for what he did for us, but have fun, Lakers, with him dropping 2 a game with bleeding from the eye. Have fun.
I saw him get 6 the other night. That's a high scoring game for him.
Yeah, but on the Raptors, he was dropping like 15. So
Should be playing in a rec league somewhere, not on the Lakers.
or in Barcelona, like you said.
He
was going
should have
through.
left. Yeah, he should have left. He could have been at home making bank over there. You can play. It's a
Like,
lot
I'm
less
like,
intense
he
over
literally
there.
said it, and it was a report. Marc Gasol is reportedly going home. And then a week later, Marc Gasol has decided to like, what?
The Lakers gotta. I mean, not gotta. They already are kind of stuck in that position. They should. I would have rather them see. I would rather see Dwight Howard right now than Marc Gasol. I
mean, it's working for them, so whatever, but yeah.
Well, they haven't really had much reliance on him, but you wouldn't have had to have any reliance on Dwight either.
Howard anyway.
You wouldn't have,
Yeah.
or McGee. I still am stuck on McGee or Howard should still be there over Gasol. I mean, Dwight. I think he's got to be close to Gasol's age, right?
You want me to, I'll check right now.
Because Gasol and Dwight seem like they've been in the league about the same amount of time.
So Marc Gasol's age first.
Gasol's got to be like 37, I would say.
35.
Really? Man,
Dwight
looks like
Howard.
he's 3/4 of the way to 40.
Dwight Howard 8. Dwight is 30. They're literally the same age.
I would rather have Dwight out there. I think
35 years old, both of them.
Dwight's got Gasol's all right, but it seems like he doesn't have a whole lot of up in him. Dwight's got a lot
He
more
can still get
effort,
up.
I think. Gasol's just, I don't know. I'm gonna keep harping on it, and probably people are gonna say, "Why are you harping on Gasol?" But I really don't think that was a garbage pickup. I think they'll be all right because they are heavily relying on other players, and Gasol's not your guy. But I just don't really see it as that smart of a decision. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just quit harping on it because it's not gonna change. They're not gonna trade for a center.
Stop harping on it till next week.
Yeah, probably. You're probably right. I don't. I'm not even gonna talk about.
Doug isn't happy with the move. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one other thing I'll mention is I keep seeing on Facebook all these idiots that say we should have signed Christian Wood. We should have signed Christian Wood. We should have signed Christian Wood.
Isn't Kelly and Hayes injured?
He's injured, but not. That's a separate thing. But yeah, Killian Hayes is injured.
I
but
just figured that out today. I didn't even know that.
But we signed Jeremy, or is it? No, this is Jeremy Grant. We got
Yep.
Jeremy because there's 2 of them. I get
He
them
put up
confused.
30.
He put up 30
He was balling.
with 11 rebounds, and there's still people in the comments. Oh, we could have gave Wood that money. We could have gave Wood that money. Shut up! You can't build around a center anymore. You stupid idiot. Stop
Grant's playing
talking
good.
about. They got a guy that I want to see them give more minutes to off the bench as Plumlee as the season goes. You got Isaiah Stewart off the bench getting 4.5 offensive rebounds, a rookie out of Washington.
That's like the most in the league, right?
I think it is the
Rookie?
most in the league. No,
Or
I
it
think
might be the most in the
like
league.
4.5. I think 4.5 offensive rebounds a game. He gets like a block most generally, if not 2 a game. I like Mason Plumlee out there. I think we remain fairly competitive, but we still suck enough where I'm happy we're gonna go for a pick. But I I think Isaiah Stewart would be a good complementary big and like more. He's short. He's like 6'9", 6'10", which is Ben Wallace's size. And he's out there. He gets you rebounds, and he's not out there looking to score. And Drummond, the people are on Drummond and Wood. You can't focus in on a big anymore. I mean, Wood was good, but Pistons fans are stuck on always wanting to compete every time. Oh, we need it quick. It's not gonna be quick. We have set ourselves up in the last. I've watched garbage my entire life, and there's people that want to just keep bringing that garbage in. That like when
What
we
the hell?
what
Apparently Isaiah Stewart's 15th in the league.
is he
In like league stats, but rookies is number 1.
Okay, well he's still
Number 1 is Andre Drummond.
Drummond is a stat patter. I'm never gonna. Drummond is a stat patter and an offense. He slows the offense. I'm not gonna talk about that stupid play I saw when I was at the game. I talk about that every time, but he slows the offense down. Goody's in Cleveland. They need somebody to score in Cleveland. In Detroit, we've got. It's not a big league anymore, and Drummond wants the ball too much. Cleveland can have him. I'm tired of Drummond.
Who's last?
Who's left?
Holy shit. Who's last? Kevin Herter at 90.
Kevin Herter's not getting boards though. That's the thing.
He gets 1, but then Drummond averages 4.1.
Well,
and
yeah.
They have Isaiah Stewart at. Where is
Well, he probably dropped off because Casey's been getting on my nerves. Dwayne Casey has been making me mad because he has been treating Sekou like garbage this whole season. The rookie we had last year played really well, had the 25-point game. Now he gives him 4 minutes a game, and he plays Blake like 30 minutes a game. You idiot.
Isaiah Stewart's like 2.75 right now.
Okay, it's dropped off, but that's to be expected. But like,
Still not bad though. It's almost 3.
no, I mean, he's playing. I don't want Blake to get injured, and I don't wish this, but I'm saying if Blake was injured, I don't want him to get injured. I really don't. But if he was injured, it would make Casey face the facts that he has to play these younger guys. I don't want Blake injured. I'd rather see him trade him off as the. But there's Blake should not be playing no 28 minutes a game if you're saying we want to get the rookies some touches. You're just passing the buck, and I'm tired of it. I mean, I like Casey, and I almost feel like I'm being too quick here because I know the kind of coaches we've had for years. We've had guys that last a year and are gone, and we've had guys like Van Gundy who I want to throw a brick at. I hate Van Gundy. I hate him. I hate the stupid Blake trade. I hate the fact that he had Reggie Jackson, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Marcus Morris, Tobias Harris, and Drummond there all at once and had the best chance we've had in 15 years and couldn't get anything done with it besides a sweep in the first round because we got the 8th seed because he couldn't get anything done with it because he wants to play 7 players a game. And then the GM moves. He picked, let's see who he picked. Oh, he picked Kennard over Donovan Mitchell. He picked Henry Ellison, who I don't even think he plays in the G League anymore. I think he's actually overseas now. But why never make a coach a GM at the same time? Never do that. That's dumb. You saw what happened in the NFL when they let Bill O'Brien become the GM and the coach. He traded off DeAndre Hopkins. That's one of the dumbest moves. I'm so tired of
this segment's called Nugracious.
Well, we're not trusting the process like Philly, but we also need to, the young guys have to get touches. We're going to suck anyway. Let the young guys get touches is basically where I'm at. We can be competitive all we want, but we've tried that for years and years and years. I just want to see something decent. I have to watch other teams to see something decent. Sports in Detroit right now are at the worst that they've ever been, to my knowledge. I don't know. I haven't been alive for years and years, but for the Tigers, the Lions, the Red Wings, and the Pistons to all suck at once, I think is a rare thing. I don't think there's been very many points in Detroit's history where all 4 teams suck. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. The Lions they're the Lions. No, let's not talk about the Lions. They're the Lions. They do what they do. But the Tigers are the bottom of the MLB. The Red Wings blew their playoff streak a couple years ago and still haven't bounced back. The Pistons actually look the most up out of any of the franchises, and right now Casey's trying to do his crap here where he's not. The young guys got to play. Blake's got to go down the river, and so does D Rose, because they need to open up minutes. I gotta quit looking at the comment section. That's my problem. I gotta quit looking at it because there's just these guys that are stuck in. I saw a guy the other day say if they got Andre Drummond a point guard, we would have been a good playoff team. They said, if we got Kemba Walker, we would have been a playoff team. You're an idiot. Shut up. That's a stupid comment.
Who's your point guard right now?
D Rose for the most part.
Kemba would be better. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, yeah, Kemba would be better, but people don't come to Detroit. They don't come to Detroit. You have to draft people into Detroit, and you got to grow them.
Well, it's the same way with my Raptors. Nobody came to Toronto until Kawhi did, so...
Yeah, you guys got to do the same thing.
So you guys need to have maybe... I mean, it's hard to really say that, but, like, you guys might have to win a ship like the Raptors did to now be looked at as a contender. Because now we get some guys looking at our team that never would have even batted an eye at us.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think when we made a big. Last time we had a big.
Harden was apparently talking with the Raptors. Probably would have never even looked at them if we didn't win.
Yeah. We've done trades like that in the past where we've told players to win. I mean, we traded Adrian Dantley for Mark Aguirre. We've traded. Yeah. We traded Jerry Stackhouse for Rip Hamilton, and just guys like that. But when that 04 team, we had guys that were just, they weren't even that good on other teams that came to Detroit. Like, who knows, maybe, I really doubt, but Mason Plumlee could be a guy like that just was kind of a mediocre guy on another team. Plumlee wasn't mediocre. He was a decent role player, but... Yeah. But comes to Detroit and is like one of their top guys, and they can contend with them down the road. Now, do I think Plumlee will be here 2 to 3 years down the road? No, but I'm saying that's how Detroit's done it in the past, is drafted guys. Back in the day, we brought Bill Laimbeer in from Cleveland. But we've been able to do it in the past. It's just, I like the GM now. We haven't really... Even like Joe Dumars, even though he won a ring, he got lucky the first few years with that. He wasn't able to consistently keep success in Detroit. If anything, he helped Detroit into this slump they're in right now by drafting guys like Jerebko, giving Stuckey the keys to the team for a couple seasons there, and just doing stuff like that. I don't know. I don't want this to edge on for too long, but I really think Detroit's young guys wise is in the best position they've been in a while. I've seen the most out of even Sadiq Bey, who I didn't know who it was before he came. He looks decent, and you've got Sake, who looked decent last year if Casey would play him.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, it seems like all of the Detroit teams have dysfunction one way or another, so hopefully at least one of them can figure it out, and hopefully it's the Pistons for my sake. I mean, I know there's a lot of Lions fans, but they've had to deal with it for a while.
And my dad, who's a Tigers fan, so he would want the baseball away, so it's like...
Yeah. It's gonna be a few years before Detroit's got anything worth watching.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm gonna end that here. I don't know how many people listened to the whole thing to this point. I don't know how many people cut out after the start of the rant, but if you made it this far, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. There's no watching, but thank you for listening. If you disagree with anything, if you think the Pistons are in a bad spot, drop a comment. Yeah, leave it in the comments. And subscribe if you're not, if you're on YouTube. Now, if you're on the podcast platform, thanks for listening. But, yeah, we'll be back next week. Have a good day.